welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Got that
What
Miller
a
Lite
day.
popping for 2023 NFL start.
What time is it in Los Angeles, California? Was the late great Jimmy Buffett said it is 5:30 p.m. kickoff time somewhere.
Is that what time the game starts tonight?
I believe 5:20, maybe.
It's here, baby. Dirtballs, get ready. NFL season is upon us.
Can I tell you something, Andy? And we've talked about this before, but I got to get it out of the way. I might even make a video for some of the other platforms about this. You know, I love California. I love the beach. I love the weather. I love the stand-up thing. All of it. Obviously, like so many people, like yourself, you know, you moved home, family, you got all the things. I got nieces and nephews growing up. I got my mom's back there now, getting older, all this stuff. I thought at moments about, hey, do I just go back to New York? It's like I can always be bi-coastal. I can always come back to and then I'm like, the game starts at 8:20 there? No, I'm sorry. I'm not going back. Like, you're going to take this game just straight to bed tonight?
Mm-hmm.
8:20. You got to wait till 8:20 tonight. And now I know it's going to happen at the exact same time for both of us. Like you're going to start watching the game at the same moment I'm going to start watching the game. But 8:20. It's crazy.
I mean, you adapt. It's 3
It
hours.
almost seems, it feels like these leagues should do. It feels like the NFL and these primetime games should be treated almost more like your regular old baseball game. 7:30 East Coast, 4:30 California. It's like, yeah, people aren't off from work yet or whatever, but I mean, it's prime. It's the Thursday night game. Yeah, you catch the second, like, crazy to me. It's like, I'd say it's a top 3 reason for me staying on the West Coast is what time football starts. Not just prime time either. Sunday football. Starting at 1 and going until bedtime, as opposed to starting at breakfast and go like Randy Ruther and I are going to go out after primetime games this year for sure.
It's an added benefit for sure.
It's like unspoken about how like huge it is, in my opinion. Like people are like, it's a factor, but it's like, it's a major plus for the West Coast.
Breakfast and football is nice. It's a nice little combo. Dare I say, underrated.
Yeah.
I mean, breakfast and football.
I mean, the fuckboy scramble with a smoothie getting thrown onto the ottoman that Nick slept on last night. Sitting down and watching the smut track. I mean, you long for those days at some point.
I have some very good memories of getting that little Andy's Beach workout in, getting the workout in.
Oh, that's truly that might be the most satisfying you can feel,
because you've already worked out. You come in, you shower, and you're cooking breakfast as the games start or as they're previewing the games. That's pretty good because you're like, hey, I've exercised. I can sit on the couch all
I've
day.
said that 1,000 times. The morning surf ding, you get up, crack of dawn, 6 a.m., whatever. You get out there, you surf, You come home, coffee, breakfast, maybe your first beer, maybe a bloody, all before 10 a.m. kickoff. You're like, I've literally won the day.
So I'd actually argue with you. I'd make the counter. I know what you're saying about going to bed late. I'd make the counter the 10 a.m. for me, like right now, if I could choose, especially with my state in life, like with the family, I would choose the 10 a.m. The 10 a.m. start is more important.
You choose the 1 p.m. games moving to 10 a.m. before you chose the primetime games moving to 5.
100%.
Yeah. Guess what, though? I don't have to choose. I get both of them.
Yeah.
Like the late games. I mean, I remember in New York, it's kind of like what's amazing is the 1 hour difference between when the late games start. If you're on the East Coast, like I would do, you do the 1 o'clock games and then the 4 o'clock afternoon game when you're on the East Coast, you're kind of like, ooh, Sunday kind of afternoon vibes. That's the almost identical vibes to the Sunday afternoon vibes you get for Sunday Night Football here. And it's amazing.
Yeah. Central is an interesting one here because you're starting at noon and then you end in a little earlier too.
Yeah.
And then you can make the same argument for Mountain West.
Yeah.
Or Mountain Time.
I'm trying to decide if Mountain would be like even better. Like an 11, a 2, and a 6? Is that what it would be?
It's a good time. They're all like, that's a good time.
Yeah.
So it's here. We got a lot to discuss. We're going to preview the full season as we always do, covering over-under wins, predictions for each division, predictions for the Super Bowl, the whole 9 yards. We'll do it all. And we'll have to do overrated, underrated again because we're going to bang out all 4 in a row. I have decided to do the AFC and NFC North today.
Wow. Okay.
Which I know will have some takes that many will not agree with.
Yeah. This is the one that gets the real.
This is the one.
This is the one that gets people online real triggered.
I'm saying from both sides, the AFC,
Totally.
NFC. This is gonna be the one that's gonna get people going. But we both finished Hard Knocks. We're ready to go. The season is here.
Let's talk about Hard Knocks because I texted you about it. They basically, if you finish with I think if you're not a playoff team, is that correct? If you're not a playoff team, they can force you to be on Hard Knocks. I think the league tries not to force teams to do it, but basically you're in the mix if you don't make the playoffs as
Correct.
A team that they can somewhat force if one of the teams doesn't accept. I think that they should also force you to have to cut people on camera. We didn't see anybody get cut on camera this season.
I don't think they're doing that as much anymore, obviously.
Bullshit.
They do it last year?
It's not soft knocks. It's not easy knocks. It's hard knocks. If you sign up for it, if you're forced to do it, hey, you don't want to cut people on camera? Make the fucking playoffs. Robert Saleh's going to give a fuck this speech, fuck that speech, fuck. They want to fucking shake our hands, say we play hard. Fuck you.
That was a great speech, by the way.
It's okay.
I thought it was great.
He writes a good speech. I feel like he needs a public speaking coach.
Well, he's not Dion. He's not going to deliver. He doesn't have the the performance ability of like a Deion Sanders. I thought it was a great speech. I actually don't care. Like, guys getting cut, cool. Like, I'll watch it, but
it's the drama of the whole thing.
But I think with this one, you thought they were not going to keep the 2 wide receivers. They were going to cut one, and that was the alternative. Is that they kept both.
I'll tell you. something, Andy. I knew they were keeping both because they cut the fucking Eminem guy the episode before and they didn't show it. So I was like, oh, they're not showing cuts. Basically. The second they didn't show a cut, but they featured the guy having been cut, I knew they weren't showing cuts. I was like, they're not showing cuts this year. They're not going to cut anybody on camera. So I knew going in that both of them were like, oh, we're going to play a fucking little game. You're not, how you feeling about camp? You're on the team.
Well, I knew the second guy because he's not, the GM isn't a good actor and he didn't sell it well enough. But I was surprised. I mean, if you look at their depth on top of those two guys, so they have Wilson, Cobb, McCole Hardman, Alan Lazard, and there's one other. I think they kept 7 receivers.
Yeah, that's not crazy. Especially since one guy's returning kicks. One guy's like,
What do we make of Aaron Rodgers' UFO story? Was he just on drugs?
Listen, I'm a guy who thinks aliens exist, obviously.
Yeah.
That aliens exist. How reckless would it be to pretend that we're the only people out there? 2, I've seen a lot of videos of a lot of shit that looks pretty crazy. But, and I'm just going to say this, and this is not meant to be political, and it's not meant to fucking cause a ruckus in the dirtball world. But have you noticed that, like, all the guys who, like, once you go down one conspiracy, you're down all of them? Like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is, like, posting Novak Djokovic on his Instagram, and he's seen UFOs? Like, you ever notice that? Like, none of them ever just go, like, yes, I'm about this, but not about this. Like, once you dive into that world, suddenly the UFOs are showing themselves to you.
Well, I think in that world, if you dabble, and I would consider myself this, if you entertain conspiracies or have a lack of trust of authority, i.e. government, health officials, all that, I put all those in a box. People with money. I think like they're all on the table. Like I would agree. Like and our government, take that for what it's worth, has acknowledged it. So it's like I fully believe aliens exist as well. UFOs are real. However, when I watched that, I was laughing out loud. I kept being like, were you just stoned, man?
Yeah.
You and your college buddy, you're in New Jersey. Were you just stoned?
Right.
Were you just high? Like,
he's like, I had just come back from 3 weeks in the dark. Still a little ayahuasca in my system. I was just in a tent with Novak Djokovic drinking special tea. And then I saw the Starship Enterprise in New Jersey. And you're like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, so I kind of take that story with a grain of salt for sure. But we'll get to it.
Also, no reports. He was like, no reports. I checked the papers the next day, nothing. Like if you know me, I've been a conspiracy guy for a very long time. And I do all the investigating on all these things. That's why I'm not a across the board guy. I like to pick and choose what conspiracies I entertain by actually doing some sort of work on it. There's these stories of UFOs over Lake Michigan and whatever that is, the 90s or the 2000s. Like 75 people called 911. And we're like, there's a fucking unidentified flying object. There's like hundreds of people. The air traffic controller is like losing his job for bringing it up. Aaron Rodgers and his buddy, the only 2 dudes in Jersey. I guess everybody was in their house watching The Sopranos.
Yeah, that was my thing.
No one else went outside when the nuclear alarms went off. It's probably just the guy's car alarm. No big deal.
I know. Well, hey man, I hate to do this, but like if we finish Hard Knocks and I'm like, I want to feel that Jets bump, baby.
You want to feel it?
It's like I am feeling it. It's
Okay.
in my blood. Like we'll get to picks here, but I'm riding pretty high with the Jets right now.
Well, the Jets had a great defense last year, and the Jets had piss poor quarterback play.
Yeah.
And we're almost a playoff team with that. I don't think you have to believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to be MVP form again to think that the Jets can be a playoff team.
No, but I'm not even talking playoff. I'm talking a run far.
You're talking a Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like again,
I'm not quite sure I'm there. I am. I mean, we can dive into it if we want to know what we have on the rundown before we get into actually picking things. But I'm just not super sold on the rest of the AFC East right now.
Well, my thing again, we always say coaching, defense, and quarterback.
Yeah.
When you have a defense that can be as good as I think they can be, not just a good defense, a great defense, you literally need a B quarterback. You don't
Right.
need, you don't need an A quarterback. You need a B quarterback. And
people are down on Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back this year and win the MVP, like I said.
No,
but the
I don't
other
either.
thing is, I unlike essentially every other talking head that talks on the internet or on ESPN or on anything, I do not believe in the 1 year washed drop off. I've said this on the show forever. You don't just wake up one day washed. It just does not happen. That is not how fucking life works. You're not just like one day you're the MVP of the league and the next day you're washed. That is just not how it fucking works. And sure, we could start seeing a decline in Aaron Rodgers, and it's pretty obvious from last year that there was some sort of decline happening. But the idea that he went from an MVP to washed is probably more of a, okay, things were not great with the Packers. Relationship wasn't good. They got rid of receivers he trusted, blah, 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 blah. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers returns to somewhere in between MVP form and where he was last year. And if there's a middle ground between those two, that's good enough to lead the Jets to the playoffs and maybe good enough to win the division. I'm not sure with all the things that I like them over a couple of other AFC teams, but.
Well, let's jump into it.
Okay.
All right. 2023 NFL preview. Let's just start with that division. Let's start with the AFC East. We'll make our prediction, who we think wins, who we think, like in what order, and then we can do the Vegas current lines over under wins.
Okay.
So AFC East, I am going to go with, you want me just, I can tell you, I know, like I've thought this through before today's show.
I have not thought anything that I will say on this show through before right now. This is two different hosts you guys got here.
In order, this is how I think the division finishes: Jets, Bills, Dolphins, Patriots.
I think that you're basically correct, but I think that there's going to essentially be two tiers here in the AFC East. And I think that every team is going to be okay. Like, I don't think we're going to get a 4-win team out of the AFC East. I trust Bill Belichick too much. I think the Dolphins are too talented, even if I don't trust their coach, even if I don't trust their defense, and even if I don't at all trust their quarterback. But I think that you're going to have two teams, the Jets and the Bills, competing to win the division. I think it could come down to the last week. I, like you, will take the Jets. Not because I've been sold on the Jets from Hard Knocks, but I just think that the Jets are going to improve on where they were last year because they're a little bit older and they have Aaron Rodgers. And I am not sold on the Buffalo Bills. I'm just, I think the Buffalo Bills are still a playoff team.
Yeah.
I think the Buffalo Bills could still beat any team on any given week, including getting into the playoffs. I think they'll be a dangerous team. But I think we are already seeing maybe this Bills team has peaked. So I think Jets Bills will come down to the last day, and I think Dolphins Patriots, which has a potential of being it has a potential of being a 3-team playoff division. I don't think it is, but I think Patriots Dolphins in the 9-win, 8-win, 9-win range will also come down to the last day. Who's in third and who's in fourth? I have more faith in Bill Belichick than I do in the Dolphins. So I'm going Jets, Bills, Patriots, Dolphins. Although I could see both of them going, both of those kind of 2-team races going either way. I do not see the Patriots or the Dolphins finishing first or second, and I do not see the Jets or the Bills finishing third or fourth.
No, the same, barring injury, right? Obviously, injury changes everything.
And when you say barring injury, that's kind of part of the Dolphins.
Sure.
I just assume Tua is not playing the full season. And I'm not wishing that. I have there's no hate toward the guy.
Yeah, concerning the Patriots, I'm just not sold on Mac Jones right now. And this post Brady era that they've kind of just been floundering in. I 100% agree. It's going to come down to the Bills and the Jets.
Now, I also think that the Patriots, sort of not barring injury, could finish fourth because, we've seen this thing. Belichick's breaking up with his girlfriend. I don't think Bill Belichick is washed, but I guess the question is there a world where Bill Belichick is hanging on for the Shula record, and that's literally it?
Could be. It's definitely plausible. I think this year for the Bills to win the division, because they're still going to have a good defense, I think Josh Allen just really needs to get the turnovers under control. And I think this could be year 2 if he keeps running recklessly where he's going to miss a few games. It's the same situation. You miss a few games. It's not good. Now, the Bills are slated to win more games. If you look at Vegas odds, the Bills are 10.5 over-under wins. The New York Jets are 9.5. I'm going to go Jets over 9.5 wins. I'm going to say Bills under 9.5 wins.
Bills under 9.5 wins.
I'm sorry, 10.5.
Right. I'm going to go Jets over. From a gambling standpoint, I'm going to stay away from the Bills because I think the Bills will be right there. I think the Bills will win 10 or 11 games. I might go over, under. But I don't know what those totals are for the Dolphins. And
the Dolphins are 9.5
under.
I agree. I think they win 9 games. The Patriots are 7.5.
It's tough to go under 7.5, but
I say the Patriots win 7 games.
Okay.
I'm not sold on them. Just not.
I'm not sold on Patriots. The issue with the Patriots is, again, I don't think Bill Belichick is. I think he's too old to be in the tanking game. But Bill Belichick will fucking surprise you sometimes. Bill Belichick punts on the season, goes Caleb Williams. I wouldn't be shocked at it. So I'm for sure gonna be staying away from a Patriots over under wager. I'm gonna go over under.
So he needs, heading into this year, he's 3rd all time on wins. He's 30 more wins to tie Don Shula.
It's 4 seasons.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That's what makes me think you're not going to be tanking if that's all you're sticking around to do.
Well, you could. I mean,
He tanks and tries to win 10, 10, and 10.
Yeah, true. I just think the teams can turn around quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's move to the AFC North then. This I thought a lot about. I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling because I was big on saying I think the Browns bounce back. I've been kind of waffling a little. Shout out to Gary Coleman. I don't waffle.
What?
Dirty sports throwback. Anybody who gets that, kudos to you.
I don't get it. The waffle?
You don't get it? Remember the old clip where he gets all mad? He's like, I don't waffle. And then you went on a rant about I don't eat waffles. I don't.
That's right.
I mean, that's a throwback for anybody who got that. So I have. I've been a little shaky on the Browns. I'm gonna say this. We all know how critical I've been of Lamar Jackson, but I just think see, this is why it's tough for me. And maybe you should go first because clearly I am waffling. It's like part of me wants to pick the Ravens to win the division, but then it's just like, not if Lamar Jackson misses 4 games.
No part of me wants to pick the Ravens to win the division. I think that the Bengals win the division. In fact, I'm not waffling on the Browns. I think Deshaun Watson is a good to great quarterback. There's no doubt about that. And I think, having a bounce back season for all the people who are on the Russell Wilson bounce back season, Deshaun Watson having a bounce back season where he actually has an off season and actually gets to play. Like, I can see that. I still think that they're the Cleveland Browns. So my real concern here, and this is crazy because I've been kind of an adamant Mike Tomlin overrated guy. I think Mike Tomlin has done a good job of breaking me of that. Maybe I still think he might be Mike Tomlin still maybe overrated, but at the same time, I think a very good coach. There was a time where I didn't think he was a very good coach for a number of reasons. I'm kind of on the are the Steelers ahead of the Ravens? I'm a Kenny Pickett guy. I'm a Kenny Pickett believer. I've been a Kenny Pickett believer from day one. And there's no analytical reason for it. I like the way he moves. I like his touch. I like that he's already the captain of the team. The Steelers, I feel like, are the sneaky team in the division for me. I'm going to go Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns. But I think the Steelers have a potential of finishing second in the division, and I think the Steelers have a potential of being a playoff team. They were all obviously almost a playoff team last year. With 3 teams getting in from the East last year, and I don't think 3 teams get in this year. If I had to pick it, I would say, yeah, I think the Steelers are a potential 3rd playoff team, or the Ravens are a 3rd playoff team from Baltimore. You know me, I'm an Odell Beckham guy, and I think, that's a nice piece for the Ravens. But at the same time, I'm not sure that was the best Odell Beckham move.
Well, the thing about the Ravens, they have a new offensive coordinator. Everyone's saying he's going to let Lamar air it out. Does that help them? I keep saying, does that help them?
Andy, welcome to Joe Prano on Russell Wilson for fucking 10 years. Let Lamar cook. What's he going to cook? Kraft mac and cheese? I could not agree more. You won an MVP. You had success doing this thing, and they're all like, there's just a problem with the Ravens. They don't let them cook enough. It's just fanboys. It's the same thing that it was. Dude, all the Seattle fans who have been in my mentions in the last 1 year, maybe Russ cooking wasn't the thing. I'm sorry I ever said let Russ cook. That I could not agree more.
So
in fact, the fact that you just brought that up, I'm doing it. Bengals 1, Steelers 2, Ravens 3. Let Lamar cook? No, thank you. Not for me.
That's why it's tough for me to pick the Ravens, even though, like I said, I want to, because the Bengals have won it 2 years in a row. And I'm like, are they going to win the AFC North 3 years in a row? However, the Bengals schedule was very tough last year. It's only 16th hardest this year based on last year's teams. So I think their schedule softens. It helps them. I'm going to go Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. I think Deshaun Watson does bounce back. I think nobody talking about him helps. They still have a pretty stout defense. Now, the running game's kind of in flux. Not really. They still have Chubb. They lose Kareem Hunt, but it's not like he's been so effective the last few years. I think there's a good chance the Browns make the playoffs. But the Steelers are going to be there. They're the Steelers. Like both these teams, the Steelers are over under 9 wins. The Browns are 9.5.
The John Harbaugh factor. I think John Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and that's what makes it hard for me to pick against the Ravens. I just said Mike Tomlin sort of won me over the last few years. I still think John Harbaugh is probably the best coach in the division. Ravens are always going to have a good defense. Now we're talking coach, quarterback, defense again, right? Like, I think they have the best coach. I think they'll have one of the better defenses, which makes me want to, it makes me rethink Steelers over Ravens. But at the same time, like, Tomlin's a good coach for sure. They're going to have a good defense. Do I think Kenny Pickett's better than Lamar Jackson? Not necessarily. Obviously he's not a better quarterback today, but in terms of the kind of quarterback that I think wins you games in the NFL and also the type of play that keeps you on the field, that's why it's hard for me to pick the Steelers over the Ravens. Like, I think across the board there, the Ravens are probably going to be better. If Lamar Jackson's out 5 games again, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah, so the Bengals over-under is 11.5, with the Chiefs and Eagles is the highest. So those 3 teams have the highest expectation level, Vegas-wise. I say the Bengals go over. I say they go 12-5. Ravens and the Browns are both at 9.5. I'm going to say Browns go over. I think the Browns win 10 games. And I'll say, I think the Ravens win 10 games.
And the Steelers over-under is what?
9. I'm going to say push.
I'm going Bengals over, Steelers over. Ravens is 9.5.
Yes.
To stay away, because I think it's 9 or 10 wins for them. I'm going Bengals over, Steelers over, Ravens over, Browns under. I like Deshaun Watson. And to me, it's just, you're the Browns. You're the fucking Browns. I think the other thing about the Browns is this division, man. No easy wins. You're going to have a decided coaching disadvantage for 6 games this year.
Well, the Browns open with the Bengals at home. So I think that that's a real test that first week.
Now, that could be one of their sneaky wins with Burrow coming back.
It could.
At home, week 1. Crazy week 1s have happened.
No, for sure.
But I also don't think that means anything.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, let's move to the AFC South.
Do we have to?
I know. A lot of people are riding so high on the Jags. There's a lot of people talking about a Super Bowl run for Jacksonville.
Well, that's
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people.
I think that people riding high on the Jags, to me, I was about to defend my riding high on the Jags. I think they're clearly the best team in the division. I think Trevor Lawrence is finally looking like the elite phenom prospect that everybody said he was. You get Urban Meyer out of there, you get a real coach in, even a coach that maybe is borderline overrated if you ask me, but I think they're the clear best team in the division. I think they proved something to themselves by playing the Chiefs tight. I think that gives you confidence going into the next season. I think there's no doubt about it. They win the division, but I don't think that they're a Super Bowl bound team.
So what's the order you're doing?
Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Jags, Colts, Titans, Texans. I think
Texans... you're doing Jags, Colts, Titans, Texans?
No, I'm sorry. Jags, Titans,
Colts, Texans.
Jags, yeah, Colts. I keep saying Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans. I think the Colts and Texans both have potential to be really bad, though. Like, really bad.
Like over, under again.
Yeah. So, if you look at the win total, the Jags are 10. I'd say over. I think they win 11 games. Titans is 7.5.
Nobody believes in the Titans.
So I'm going to say I still like Vrabel. I think he's a great coach. I'm going to say over on 7.5.
Over.
Colts 6.5. I'm going to say under. And Texans 6.5. I'm going to say under.
I think both those teams will be sneaky teams that you don't want to like. Texans, Colts are going to be those kind of teams that murder somebody's suicide league. I say that having picked the Texans week 1 against the Ravens, but or picking the Ravens week 1 against the Texans, because I think that you do have two quarterbacks that a lot of people think can be good. And the Texans won some games last year, or actually I should say played some games close last year. But at the same time, I just think over, under.
Yeah. All right, AFC West. I'm going to go Chiefs, obviously. Chiefs win the division. I'm going to go Chiefs, Broncos.
I fucking knew you were going to do it. This guy won't fucking learn. This guy. You're like a guy who goes in and out of rehab.
Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers.
You're like, I've done it again. I've let my family down again. I'm so sorry.
You know why, though? You know why, man?
You love Sean Payton.
Well, look, dude, it's not that I love him. I think coaching obviously matters. We always talk about it. One of the three main staples we look at. That guy in LA, he's such an idiot. I mean, Staley is just such an idiot. No matter how you feel about Justin Herbert, and I still think he's really good, like, your coach is a giant idiot, and your coach was the defensive guy. What's been the liability for them since he came onto the team? Defense. I just don't trust him. I think Sean Payton is smart enough to get back to game managing Russell Wilson. And defense wasn't a problem last year for the Broncos. Now, granted, it's year to year can change. I think the Broncos win 10 games. And maybe the Chargers do too.
Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. I'm tempted to go Broncos under Raiders, but I'm not going to because I think that the Raiders have proven nothing in terms of having a guy who can really be a head coach. I think Jimmy G is a weird decision there on a team that it feels like you didn't upgrade a little bit. You didn't upgrade in like necessarily any regard other than the fact that you have a guy that you kind of know of more. Maybe you like his style more or whatever, but I don't think there's any argument out there that even if you're not a big Derek Carr guy and you are a big Jimmy G guy, I don't think there's like an argument out there that's like a world's difference. So I'm going Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. I am not a believer in Russell Wilson. I'm not a believer in Sean Payton.
Yeah, but when you see the Sean Payton news,
And not only that, Sean Payton might not be a believer in Russell Wilson.
and he might not, but like you see the news.
Like, is he trying to run him out of town? Does he think tanking's in order? Like, what's going on over there?
Well, the headline this week, it was from an ESPN story. And Sean Payton apparently told Russell Wilson, will you fucking stop kissing all the babies? You're not running for public office.
Also, the idea that Russell Wilson seems to think that he's doing something where he's like, I want to be likable. Dude, no one likes you. It's a pretty popular take to just be like, Russell Wilson's cringe as fuck.
Yeah, for sure. But my point is, he finally has somebody to tell him. He finally has a coach to say, look, man, stop caring about your public image. Also, everyone hates you. Now, this is a huge year for both of those guys' careers. If the Broncos make the playoffs and win a game, then they both look good. If they go 7-10 again or whatever they went last year, it's not good for either of those guys.
Well, I would argue this. And it sucks because it's the path that they've chosen. But I could see them being a just miss the playoffs kind of team, and that causing Sean Payton to be like, we're right there. We have a defense. We've got some young receivers. I know how to coach offense. This ain't the fucking guy. This is not my Drew Brees. And unfortunately, I don't think there's anything the Broncos can do about it at that point, except literally eat a bag of shit money. Eat the Subway sandwich of shit monies.
Unlimited shit money. So I'm going over on the Chiefs 11.5 wins.
Yes. It's crazy because I feel like a lot of the over win totals for some of these upper echelon teams is like they're still 16 game seasons. It's like, to me, no doubt about it, when you're playing a 17, for the Chiefs or the Bengals to win 12 games and you're paying 12-5. That's kind of like it's a great record, but it's not like, oh my God, they've run away with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It does seem low. So next in that division are the Chargers as far as projected win total. They're at 9.5.
I think the Chargers win 10 games.
I think they do too. So I'm gonna go over. Next, the Broncos are at 8.5. I'm gonna have to go over if I think they make the playoffs.
I mean, I think the Broncos season is essentially that number. I think the difference, I think that Broncos season is, are they a 9-8 team or are they an 8-9 team? As somebody who's just, I still think they could be a 9-8 team and be disappointing in a way. It's really hard for me. It's obviously a stay away. I might go over. Might go 9-8. 9-8, miss the playoffs. Because I have potentially 3 teams coming out of the North, 2 out of the East, 2 out of the West. Doesn't that adds up? That's 7 right there, right?
Yeah, there's your 7.
2 out of the East, 2 out of the West, 3. No. 7. No, you can't. You can't have 3 and have 2 somewhere else, right?
Would you have a South winner, obviously?
South winner. You get 7 teams in the playoffs these days, right? So I'm going 2 from the West or potentially 1 from the West and the Chiefs. But I think it's either the Chiefs and the Chargers from the West and then possibly 3 from the North, or maybe the Chargers get in and it's only 2 from the North. I've got Bills, Jets, both from the East, and whoever wins the South, which I think is the Jags.
God, it's a fucking loaded conference.
I just don't think the Broncos are better than the Chargers, and I don't think the Broncos are better than most of the AFC North.
Yeah, I don't think they are either.
The only benefit they have against the AFC North is the AFC North's got to play the fuck out of each other, and the Broncos at least have a couple of Raiders games. You know, the Broncos have a great home field advantage there in Denver, where maybe they sneak a win against a Chargers team. Maybe they sneak a win against whoever. Like, I don't think they sneak a win against the Chiefs at home, but they could. It's a tough division.
Yeah, it's a tough division.
I'm going Broncos over 9-8, still miss the playoffs. Sean Payton behind closed doors said, "Man, we're 9-8. We're a game away. We're paying this guy $50 million a year.
Unlimited."
And they're like, well, there's nothing we can do about it now because Andy Ruther's not the GM of a fucking franchise, and no one's trading for this dude.
I think he knew what he got into when he signed up. He knows. And he thinks he can change it. Raiders.
I think he thinks he can change it or thought he could change it before he got there. But also, I think he knows he commands the type of money that he commands as a coach because they think he can change it. So it's a win-win for him.
Yeah. And I think the Raiders go under 7.5 wins.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. So we're through the AFC. Over, under. Let's see here. There's 17 weeks in a season. Over, under 150 Miller Lite strength during NFL games.
Well, listen, no matter how I answer this, I just want you to know that I'll always be drinking responsibly.
That's good. You should.
That I'm an older person now, and when you get old and you get mature, you realize that that's really the only way you should drink is responsibly. You kids out there, I can't stress this enough. Stay away from all the hard booze. You don't need touchdown shots. I used to do that. Shots for touchdowns, half shots for field goals, double shots for touchdowns, shots for field goals when my team would be playing. I drink responsibly now. Just a Miller Lite. It's responsible in terms of my consumption. It's also responsible in terms of the amount of carbs I take in. 3.2 per can. It's not too bad. I go back to the old Miller Lite campaigns of yesteryear. Tastes great, less filling. Fantastic. That being said, it's a long season, a lot of games. I'm crushing the over.
Yeah, well, and also the games, NFL day is you can drink responsibly.
Yeah, it's long. I'm having a beer an hour.
A beer an hour is totally responsible.
Very responsible.
And there's no reason anybody out there should not make Miller time all season long, guys. All season long. We got a full NFL season. We got a full football season. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/dirty sports, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Okay.
Don't forget, by the way, just speaking more on how responsible I am with drinking, the NFL season has 18 weeks because it's 17 games now, plus a bye week for everybody. It's 8.33 beers a week. That's,
very responsible.
We're talking about 2 beers for a Thursday night game, 2 beers for a Monday night game. That's a beer and a half. And then just a casual 5 during a whole course of Sunday. Very responsible. Also, just absolutely obliterating the over.
Yeah, I said it pretty low. That was not a good.
No, it's great. It's actually great. And it actually will be probably close because there probably will be days where I don't drink.
Well, I think some days you will is when we're going to start with your team.
I mean, I've already had 1 today.
Yeah.
NFL season starts today. I'm at 1.
Okay. Set it too low. I'm not a good Vegas odds maker. NFC
You know,
East.
you always got to factor in injury.
Yeah, true. NFC East. Here we are.
Here we are.
There's this part of me that really wants to make the Cowboys just drop off.
Well, Andy, before you expound on that, let me say this. I would love to say that the Eagles drop off, but I don't think that they do. Obviously, I don't think that they win 14 games, so I think there'll be a drop off in that. But I think the Eagles are a very talented team. They've hampered themselves a little bit with this Jalen Hurts contract, but that will not be a factor this year. They got a steal in Carter in the draft. I think that the Eagles are very good again.
Yeah.
A lot of people will think and have thought over the years, I'm an aggressive Giants homer. But if you look at the Eagles team and you look at the Giants team, the last year of the Doug Peterson years in Philadelphia, the Eagles win 4 games. The first year of Nick Sirianni, the Eagles win 9 games. The second year of Nick Sirianni, the Eagles win 14 games and go to a Super Bowl. The last year of the pre-Dable era in New York, the Giants win 4 games. The first year of the Dable era, the Giants win 9 games and a playoff game. Now, do I think the Giants are going to win 14 games this year? No, I do not. But I think the Giants will be an improved team and win at least as many games as they won last year, although last year they did have a tie. So I could see 9-8. I could see 10-7. Doesn't leave a lot of room for the Cowboys to be a great team. I do not believe and have never believed in Mike McCarthy. I think Dak is overrated. I agree with you. I think that they're going to win 4 games this year? No, I don't.
I'm going to throw you a crazy one. I'll just say my predictions. I'm going to go Eagles, Giants, Washington, Dallas.
Wow.
I think they fall mighty.
Ruther.
Yeah.
This is coming from a guy who used to be Mr. Picking Dallas to the Super Bowl.
I did it 1 year.
You have a couple years. You have a couple years where you thought big things from Dallas. I agree with you. Not as I think Eagles, Giants, Dallas, Washington. But I think that the Giants, Dallas, Washington could be could be mixed up in that 8, 9, 10 win range.
So,
but I just think that I believe in Brian Dable so much. It's the one takeaway, like forget all the contracts, forget these signings, forget Waller, forget all that shit. I just truly believe we have a franchise-changing coach. And I believe, I know a lot of people think this is a step back year for the Giants. I just, not as a Giants homer, but as a Dable believer and a McCarthy non-believer, I think it starts on Sunday night.
Yeah, well, you previewed where my head's at as well on that game. I think you have
I forgot we got to pick games today.
Yeah, so we're going to have to get through this. So you have a shitty coach in Dallas, in my opinion, an inept management when it comes to football. I think when it comes to business, the Jones family, they do great. They're currently valued at the highest of any NFL team at $9.5 billion. Yeah, the evaluation of the Cowboys as a business is great. It's not as a football team. I'm not sold on Dak. I used to like Dak. I think they drop off. Conversely, the reason I picked Washington ahead of them, and I know the expectation is very low in Washington, I just think when you get rid of that Dan Snyder stink, I think that it affects the players, man. It affects the team. It affects the city. So Washington over under, we'll start there,
Do you believe in? Okay, I'll let you go through it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's 6.5. I'm going over.
I'm going over.
Your Giants 7.5. We both go over.
I'm kind of offended by the number.
It's very low. Conversely, Dallas Cowboys 9.5. I'm going under.
I'm going under.
And the Philadelphia Eagles 11.5. I'm still going to go over. I think they win 12 games.
Yeah, I think I think they'll be right there. I don't see a huge. I don't see a dominant season by the Eagles, but
like you said, 12-5 isn't dominant.
Correct. But I think they could be right there. I could also see an 11-win team, but I could see 12 for sure. I'll go over because I don't think that they drop off. I'll say this about the Eagles. We've talked about this before: coaching, quarterback, finances, the guys you got to pay, the guys coming up, all that stuff. This is the Eagles window. Like we're in year probably 2 of 3 for an Eagles window.
Yeah. Well, I think you have. We talk about a window. I think it's the same way with the Bengals, right? This is the last year. I don't know as much. I'm not as familiar with the Eagles situation, but like this is the last year this core Bengals team will be together. It is. You can't. I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to afford Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and then some of the guys on defense. You're just not. So this is the last year of that. And the Eagles are in a very similar situation. Like it's now or never for those two teams.
And what's crazy, and we'll obviously get to it, is like, not only is it probably, in my opinion, 2 of 3. Oh man, the NFC. Like the fucking road is there for you.
It's a weak conference.
Very weak.
Yeah.
Especially in comparison to the AFC.
Well, exactly. Look at the next division we're about to hop into. The NFC North. Not a single team from that division is going to make the Super Bowl. Not a single team is going to
you're not on the Lions hype train?
No, I'm not. Now, could they win the division? Yeah.
Could they win a playoff game?
Yeah. For sure. Now, do I have a bet that they won't? Yeah. But that's more for shits and giggles. I don't really put too much into that. I think there's a good chance they do win a playoff game. Everyone is on the Lions because Travis Kelce is not playing. Is Travis Kelce playing tonight?
I don't care.
I don't care either. It's so that line, and we'll obviously get to lines, but like this is kind of hopping into the NFC North discussion. Everybody's like, the line, I'm for sure taking the Lions. The line moved from 6.5. It's down to 4.5. My thing is, it's still the Chiefs at home, man.
Can I say something I wanted to bring up on this show as well? Feels like now with the Chiefs-Lions game coming up, I know we're about to preview. Do you want me to save this for the Chiefs-Lions actual line discussion, or do we not give a fuck? Just hop into it.
Just hop into it.
Steve Spagnuolo may be one of the most underrated defensive coordinators of all time. I know that he's had suspect defenses, but can we talk about suspect defenses that also win Super Bowls? Everybody fucking, Eli Manning carried by the fucking defense. 17th and 25th. Those are the facts. And you look at the Mahomes Super Bowl teams, suspect defenses. And every year people will go, suspect defenses. This is why the Lions are going to be able to run the ball against the Chiefs today. Cool. And the Lions could win tonight. Great. It's not do I think they're going to? No, but they could. But this is kind of the thing is in the NFL, the name of the game is to win the fucking Super Bowl. So I really don't give a shit what your defense, I don't give a shit if you're the 85 Bears and you give up 6 points a game. The 85 Bears have a single Super Bowl. Steve Spagnuolo is defensive coordinator for 3. Buddy Ryan, defensive genius. Cool. He got his Super Bowl. people love to shit on Spagnuolo because he had a rough head coaching thing. And people love to shit on Spagnuolo because he's kind of bounced around. The name of the game is to win the Super Bowl and to scheme for those teams that you're playing. Everybody's sucking the Eagles' dick. Everybody's sucking the Bengals' dick. Everybody's whatever. Dude, I don't care what the scores are. You've got to stop them one more time than they stop you.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's had teams where it's like the whole thing is built around offenses.
Sure.
So,
well, not having Jones is going to hurt.
Yeah, you have a talent deficiency. Like, he's almost like the guy you want to be your defensive coordinator if you don't have a good defense.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, look.
People will be like, oh, Spagnuolo is the reason you don't have a good defense. No, I think Spagnuolo is a guy who schemes really well for the talent that he has.
The Lions are slated to win the most game, projected, I should say. Projected for the highest win total.
Which is how many?
9.5. So this is a shit division because you have 9.5 for them, 8.5 for Minnesota, and 7.5 each for the Packers and Bears. I want to pick the Lions to win the division. I do.
Okay.
But I'm not.
Who's going to win the division?
Packers. I'm going to go crazy on this one. You know why? And by the way, this is a pick I have the least amount of faith in because obviously it's a crazy pick. You don't know. Nobody knows anything about Jordan Love. And sometimes change can be good for a whole team.
I agree with that. I am tempted. First of all, I'm not tempted to pick the Packers to win the division. I think the Lions do win the division. And I think the Packers finish second. And I think that the Vikings have a drop-off. And I think that the idea that people are somehow on the Bears based on what?
Justin Fields, baby, MVP.
Dude, if Justin Fields wins 6 games, what's their over-under? 7.5?
Yeah.
If Justin Fields wins 7 games, good for him. Keep him as your quarterback. I'm all for it. I'm also going Bears under. The idea that he's going to be some sort of MVP candidate is lunacy. I'm going Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. I think the Vikings drop off. Everybody knows how I feel about Kirk Cousins. I don't feel great about that pick because it feels like picking the Jets to be better because they have Aaron Rodgers and picking the Packers to be better because they lost Aaron Rodgers feels like it's counterintuitive.
For sure.
But also, finances are a big part of it. I think that the Packers are a well-run organization. I don't think LaFleur was just simply being carried by Rodgers. So I agree with you. Like, I kind of sneak, but I'm going to go Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. It could be Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. If you're a Vikings fan out there and you feel offended that I think that you guys are second at best and third probably, guess what? Suck my fucking dick from the back. Your quarterback is the most overrated piece of fucking Jesus-loving trash ever. Nice fucking man cave that looks like a Hobby Lobby. You fucking dork. Talk about a missing your window. You never even had a fucking window. Your windows are like an apartment that the landlord just keeps repainting instead of fucking redoing when somebody moves out. Your windows have been painted shut since you got Kirk Cousins. I don't give a fuck if you go 15-2. You're not winning fucking shit.
I figured out who Kirk Cousins is, by the way. I was texting with some buddies. One of my buddies, he lives in Minnesota now, and we were exchanging some funny, messages, college buddies for the record. And I said, you know who Kirk Cousins is? My buddy's got it. I go, if you watch any if you watch any of that Netflix documentary, I go, he's the guy that I teabagged in college. Like, he's the dorky guy who falls asleep after whatever, a few amount of beers. He's the guy. Yeah, he's the guy I'm teabagging. And everybody's laughing and they're filming.
Kirk Cousins falls asleep when he has one sip of wine at communion. Kirk Cousins like, I don't feel so good. We got to get brunch after this.
He's the guy I'm drunkenly.
And then he takes his whole family on his $50 million a year contract to Chili's for a post-church burger.
So I got to hop into YouTube right now. See, you called this. We clearly have Vikings fan here. Mason Spry, shout out to you, Mason. The boys tweaking on NFC North. I responded, what's your order? Sure enough, Vikes, Lions, Bears, Packers last. So I'm just throwing the wild card in there. That's to me. The wild card is the Packers, then 100%, the Lions, 100%. Then the Vikings, then the Bears.
Listen, but I'll say this against about the Vikings again. It's a Super Bowl or bust league. I don't care if you go 17-0. You probably won't win a playoff game because you'll have a bye and then you'll play a good team. I couldn't believe in any team to win the Super Bowl that isn't a basement dwelling Cardinals, Texans, fucking whatever, than I believe in the Vikings. And just what kind of Vikings fan watches what happened last year? The season, the greatest season in team history, to just get absolutely fucking carved by Danny Dimes, to throw a fucking 2-yard out when you need fucking 9. How do you feel good if you're a Vikings fan?
So
you're like the people who like you guys have seen the fucking AI videos of Ford Broncos just getting absolutely turned into fucking crushed soda cans. And you're like, I'm buying a fucking Ford Bronco. Read the room, dog.
Here's a wild stat for everybody. Kirk Cousins in his career has made $231 million, and he's won a single playoff game. That's nuts to me. You've made $231 million and you've won a single playoff game. Now, I know there are people out there who don't think that playoff wins are a quarterback stat, which I think is hilarious because we judge
2 different franchises.
Yeah, we judge people by that. We do, whether it's right or wrong.
It's fine. It's not a quarterback stat, but it is a Kirk Cousins stat.
But it is. I'd
love to see the finances. Has Kirk Cousins made more money per playoff win than anybody else in the history of the game?
It's not even close.
Has to be.
I'm talking runaway $231 million for a single playoff.
Some dirtball analytics fucking internet guy. Like I need the top 5 quarterbacks of all time. Money versus money per playoff win.
He runs away with it. I know he does.
There was a time, and listen, I know I got the jersey, I got the Ole Miss jersey behind me. I know everybody. I'll take Eli Manning's cock and balls right now. There was a time where he had made like the most money of a tract early after a Super Bowl. He got another one after another Super Bowl. He kept playing for nearly 20 years. Blah 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 blah. Dude won 8 playoff games in fucking two appearances.
I don't think he won any other ones though.
One more, maybe? One more? Did he win one more? Yeah.
I don't think so though. So regardless, let's get back to the over-unders.
I know, of course, regardless, he has twice as many Super Bowl MVPs as Kirk Cousins has playoff wins.
Lions 9.5. I'm saying under.
So you think the division winner? Oh no, okay. I'm
picking
over.
The Packers are slated to 7.5. I'm going over.
I'm going over.
The Vikings 8.5.
Under.
I'm gonna say they go 8-9. Yeah, he can beat me to it. 8-9, and the Bears 7.5. I'm going under.
And by the way, great. Win 7 games, go 7-10. Keep building, keep plugging. Grit. 10 wins, 9 wins, 8 wins, 7 wins. Over, under.
All right, NFC South. Pretty boring division we have here. Right? You have a rookie quarterback in Carolina, Bryce Young. You have Derek Carr starting down in New Orleans. You have Baker Mayfield starting in Tampa. And then you have, who's the kid from Cincinnati?
Desmond Ridder.
Easily the worst division for quarterbacks.
Lot of talk about this Falcons team. A lot of people on the Falcons hype train early. A lot of people love Bijan Robinson. I think the Falcons will be in the mix a little bit because they were sneaky last year. But for me,
it's the Saints.
It's Saints.
Yeah.
It's Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. Saints. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do
Saints, Panthers.
Saints, you know it. Saints, Panthers, Falcons, Bucks. I can't believe Baker Mayfield's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I can. I mean, listen, Baker Mayfield has not been Baker Mayfield was Johnny Manziel 2.0. I mean,
don't do that to him. He's better than Johnny.
No. I'm saying he was in that, there's never the hype train. The same people love him. The fucking headband, the whole thing. The same exact people. The people who own Johnny Manziel fucking Browns jerseys own Baker Mayfield Browns jerseys. That being said, what I was about to say is far better quarterback. Looked decent in LA at the end of last year. There's a part of me that wants like a dive in on a Baker Mayfield redemption Bucks thing, but I don't believe in them that much, nor do I believe in them that much. I think that they, put all their chips on the table. They got their Super Bowl. We're in that grace period. I don't know. I really liked Bryce Young coming out of college. I don't watch a lot of preseason football, but I did see a lot of it. Like, I didn't love how Bryce looked in preseason, but it's just a preseason. But I'm going to go see. I mean, listen, I'm a Derek Carr underrated guy. I don't love their coach.
Did they win 10 games? They're at 9.5.
Somebody's got to win 10. Maybe not.
I don't. I think the winner of this division has 9 wins.
Yeah, it could be old school NFC North or NFC South.
Yeah, I think the Saints go under 9.5. They win 9 games.
I tell you what game they're not winning: December 17th in New Orleans against the New York Football Giants. While we're there recording the 1000th episode of the Dirty Sports Podcast.
There you go.
I think I agree with you.
Panthers 7.5. I think they win 8 games.
I'm gonna go under.
Bucks 6.5.
Under.
And the Atlanta Falcons 8.5. I'm going under.
Under. Yeah, I think I'm going Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks. It's crazy to go under. Could be Saints 10, everybody else under. But I think if for the fuck of it, let's go under.
All right, another weak division, the NFC West. Right, so outside of San Francisco, obviously, because the Niners are slated 10.5 wins. The Rams are, I'm going to go over. The Rams are 6.5.
I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go over too. Cardinals are 4.5.
I'm going to go under. I mean, they're starting Josh Dobbs today, I think, or Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going under. And then the Seattle Seahawks 9. I'm going to go under. I think they drop back to 8 and 9 this year.
Ooh. The Seahawks are at a solid 9.
Yeah, Seahawks and Steelers are the only ones. Solid 9s.
I think the Seahawks are right there. It's 9 or 10. I don't think it's 8. It's probably a stay away push. I'll go over just because. I mean, it's the Andy Ruther. Every year they win 10 games. I mean, what are we going to do? How are we going to shit on the guy? Every year they win 10 games.
Then they went 9-8 last year. So we seem to agree it's going to go. Yeah. Actually, we don't agree. So we go Niners, Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Rams, Cardinals.
I think the Rams could be sneaky. I think the Rams could be like sticking around toward the end of the year. But I think a borderline 500 season. It's crazy in the NFL. You can't have a 500 season anymore unless you have a tie. But that would be a win for them. You know, I think with the cap hell they put themselves into to win that Super Bowl. I think they could be sneaky. I think they could be problematic for a Seahawks team. I don't love Seahawks over, but I don't know if they win 8 games. So for me, it's a Seahawks push essentially. And I think we all agree that the Niners win the division. And that the Cardinals are tanking, even though the quarterback has maybe already said he's not going to go there.
I didn't see that. Did he say that?
Well, there's a report. Caleb Williams' dad is going full Archie Manning, being like, we could stay in college if this situation isn't right.
Interesting.
Also, did you see there was a clip of the Cardinals coach, just like
the motivation one?
Yeah.
Bro, what a disaster. I mean, complete debacle. Yeah, they're going to be bad. Like Arizona's going to get their ass kicked. I mean, they let Colt McCoy go. Not that he was anything special, but they're like, dude, he's serviceable as a backup.
Well, that's why I think they're tanking, right?
Yeah, that's what everybody thinks.
And that is the scary thing. Like, did we figure out who Mac Jones' backup is in New England? Because there was a moment there where they were like, Mac Jones is the only quarterback on the roster. That also makes me think that like they're tanking. I just don't think Belichick is tanking in him, but he is breaking up with his girlfriend and
Matt Corral.
Oh, they just got him from. He was on the Panthers.
He looks like a villain in an 80s movie.
Yeah,
he's from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. Let's get on to the postseason because we're gonna have to rapid fire make these picks.
Okay. Do we have? I mean, are we so rapid fire that I can't go get myself another Miller Lite?
Go get yourself another Miller Lite.
Do you have any plugs you can do in there? Maybe tell everybody about our 1000th episode.
Yeah, I can handle it, Joe. We can kill some time. You should come to our 1000th episode. It will be December 16th in the lovely city of New Orleans. Podcast, 2 comedy shows that night. Joe will be headlining both comedy shows. I will be hosting. I'll be coming out of retirement to grab the mic and could possibly bomb. That's something to see. Me eat shit on stage in New Orleans. Maybe somebody heckles me, throws something at me. That'd be fun to see. Also, we've had talk about getting a voodoo witch doctor. I don't know what they're called. Maybe possibly making an appearance during the live podcast. Dirtballs have been DMing me. There you go. Crack that Miller Lite open. Dirtballs have been DMing me a lot. So Joe's going to get a head count and see where we're at. But it seems like a lot of people are coming into town, flying in. So we have a lot of out-of-town dirtballs.
And I'm so excited, guys. Thank you for all you people who have already reached out. This is it really, I think the combo of the fact that we're doing the 1000th plus New Orleans, plus some stand-up shows, plus the game, plus everything that beautiful, truly one of my favorite cities in the whole world provides. I think it will be a really, really special weekend, and I'm super excited about it. I get giddy at the idea. I get giddy at the idea of visiting New Orleans without any of this stuff. But 3 shows back to back to back, essentially, the game, all the things, all the things that we can all experience together. Dirtball streetcar,
Yeah.
Bars don't close. To go drinks.
No, it'll be a blast.
I mean, Ruther's over under that he set. I could put a huge dent in that in 4 days in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. All right, so let's get to the postseason. Let's get to some awards.
Okay.
I want to start with the awards. MVP.
Okay.
And to be honest, that's the only one I care about. So this is my thought process when it comes to the MVP. Fatigue is real with these writers. It doesn't matter the sport. Patrick Mahomes has already won 2. I want to say he'll be right there because we know he will, which means does he deserve a 3rd? Probably. I don't see him giving it to him. So then we're left with the other quarterbacks because at this point, it's a quarterback award. I'm not even going to entertain a Justin Jefferson or anyone else. I'm just not. So where's that leave us, Joe? It probably leaves us with Joe Burrow, maybe Jalen Hurts, maybe Lamar Jackson just lets it rip. I'm going to say
your boy Josh Allen, not
Josh
in the mix
Allen.
anymore.
Well,
your boy Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to say Joe Burrow for MVP. It's an easy pick, though. I'm not going out on a limb. For that very reason, I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes deserves it, but Joe Burrow gets it.
I kind of agree with you. Because we are at that point in the as great as Joe Burrow is, as great as Josh Allen is, as great as Herbert is, as great as Jalen Hurts is, as great as all these guys are. This is not the Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. Like there is one quarterback, and I love Joe Burrow. Patrick Mahomes is inarguably the best quarterback in football.
Yeah, agreed.
I said Joe Burrow. I said Patrick Mahomes last year. I was right last year because I think it is what it is. But fatigue is real.
No,
there's a reason. There's a reason LeBron James doesn't have 10 straight MVPs.
And the same thing for Jordan. You know, he should have been winning it so many of those years.
Yeah,
so,
but we didn't need to say that because it's what or the same thing for fucking who gives a shit. That other things that happen on tape delay.
So see, wow, we both agree with Joe Burrow, but I'm going to say this. He wins the MVP. His team does not make it back to the AFC Championship.
No AFC Championship game for the Bengals.
No AFC Championship game for the Bengals.
Because you're going Chiefs, Jets.
I want to go Chiefs, Jets. I do.
I kind of love it. I hate when we agree because you're a cursed man. The defense is so good, man.
That's my thing. It's the defense is so good. When it comes to playoffs, I mean, look, I was at the Bengals-Ravens game last year. The Ravens defense was playing so good. The Bengals only win that game against a backup Tyler Snoop Huntley because of that wild ball punch out at the 1 yard line, taking back 100 yards, right? 99 yards. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the playoffs and you got a team that can play defense.
Let me just say this. I don't think that the AFC Championship game is Chiefs-Bengals. That's what I don't think.
Not for a 3rd year in a row.
I just don't think, like, it's just so hard to continue to do it over and over and over again. It's also really hard to repeat, but in a way, the Chiefs losing 2 years ago to the Bengals makes you think, well, it's not like we're like in the middle of the Chiefs just winning every fucking year. Like they weren't in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So I kind of agree with you. It's like if one of them doesn't have to be there, I almost think it's the Bengals. Justin Wood has punched 8 holes in his wall in the last 3 minutes.
No, he hasn't.
That's the most all caps coping I've ever seen in my whole life.
Bengals just confirmed winning the Super Bowl. # Ruther curse. I'm going to hit you with another curse, Justin. And this is obviously personal with the Bengals. I'm going to start it right now. You know what's going to curse the Bengals? The skyline curse.
Wow.
Yeah. The Bengals dropped 21 years of a partnership with Gold Star, who had their back through some atrocious teams. 21 straight years. And I get it. Skyline's the cool kid in town. They have double the locations, double the revenue, double everything. Everybody's rocking their Skyline shirts in Cincinnati. Obviously, I work for Gold Star, but I'll say this much to the Bengals and to the Bengals fans. You cursed yourself.
Dance with the girl that brought you.
Yeah. And I'll say this to all my Skyline lovers and to Skyline as a restaurant. You have serious pressure because the last 2 years, they've made it to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship twice in a row under Gold Star, who was with you the whole time. And guess what, Skyline?
I think the last 2 years for the Bengals, 2 AFC Championship games, that's the meat, that's the cheese. I don't see the onions going on top. It's no three-way this year.
And the fans will come because you know how superstitious fans are. If they falter, that's the only big change up for the Bengals. And I'll just ask you this to all my Cincinnati sports fans. How's that Skyline partnership worked for the Reds? Not a single playoff series.
Dun, dun, dun.
But hey, the last time they won the World Series, Gold Star was their sponsor. These are just facts that I'm saying. I know I'm going on some inside chili war stupid rant. I'm just saying, I believe that's going to be part of the curse. Joe Burrow wins the MVP. He gets the individual accolade. The Bengals do not reach the AFC Championship.
Also, Joe Burrow is on the record saying he doesn't fuck with the chili at all.
He doesn't fuck with the chili at all, in particular Skyline.
Also, so here's what I think. I think the Chiefs go back to the AFC Championship game. I think the team that they play is going to be, I don't think it's going to be the Bengals. I don't think it's going to be a team that, you know, everybody kind of thinks will be. I don't think it's going to be the Bills. But like is it the Jets? Is it the Jags? Is it the Chargers? Is it the Steelers? Sneaky Steelers team. But I'm like I dare I fucking tap in with Ruther here. I think it'll be like the win for the Jets to like just get there. I don't think they go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But I could see Chiefs Jags. I could see that game from last year being the AFC Championship game.
So here's the deal. You have Jets, Chiefs is me. You're saying the Chiefs make it back again.
Mm-hmm.
Again. And another one.
I mean, it's really just 2 years in a row, though. It's kind of Cowboys-ish. Year, no
2 years in a row, but that would be their fourth Super Bowl recently. I'm going to say this. Jets win and make it to the Super Bowl. J-E-T.
Do you think the Jets win the Super Bowl this year?
I think they make it to the Super Bowl.
So then you think they lose to an NFC team? What do you call them? Turnpike Super Bowl? You going Eagles over Jets?
Eagles or
you
Niners?
Going Subway Super Bowl? You going Lincoln Tunnel Super Bowl? You go Ruther, are you going Giants Jets Super Bowl?
No. That's a no for me, dog.
Well, we know you're not going Lions Jets Super Bowl. You going Niners Jets Super Bowl?
Either Niners or Eagles.
It's so fucking hard for me to pick a team out of the NFC. I don't believe in any of them. I guess I believe in the Niners the most. Such a question mark.
You know what? Fuck it, Prano. I'm just gonna go all in. Here's the thing: the Bucks did it. The Rams did it. You have a good defense. You add a great quarterback. Jets win the Super Bowl. You heard it here.
Wow. I mean, I guess the potential here is that if you double up on curses, maybe they cancel each other out.
Sorry, Jets fans. I'm picking the Jets over the Eagles. No, Jets over the Niners. Jets over the Niners. Whatever Super Bowl year this is.
It's such a boring selection for me. But Chiefs over the Niners.
But isn't that, you see what I'm saying though about the blueprint? Like, I know we talk about the curse.
I know no one's more of a. It's
It's
still
worked twice
the
recently.
Jets.
And what history did the Bucks and Rams have?
They're nothing compared to the Jets.
True.
I also just think like it would be very Jets-ish to like get close and be like, we did it. And then like,
so you're going Chiefs win again over the Niners.
that's crazy, right? It's not sexy.
It's not crazy.
It's not sexy. You feel like they get the crazy thing about the Chiefs is you feel like they get sneaky beat by somebody at some point, but I feel like that happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's just so fucking good, man.
Well, that's the thing. I think the Jets beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. And this is like Aaron Rodgers big. Hey, you guys think I can't win when I'm clutch? And then he hops on a UFO, rides to the Super Bowl.
Doesn't play because we have a COVID spike.
And Zach Wilson plays.
No way that Mormon's vaxxed.
Okay, there you have it. Do we have time to make picks?
Let's go rapid fire.
Let's rapid fire. I mean, rapid fire the shit out of this. All right, let's start tonight. I already alluded to it. Spread was 6.5. It's now 4.5, Joe, here. About 5 hours before game time.
Chiefs. Moving on.
It's funny that we're both doing that.
It's in Arrowhead. I tweeted yesterday at 5:30, which would have been 24 hours and 10 minutes after the game started. I said 24 hours today, Patrick Mahomes will have thrown for his second TD against the, quote, improved Lions defense.
Panthers, Falcons in Atlanta. Falcons are 3.5-point favorites.
Well, I think the Falcons win that game, but 3.5. What were we talking? It's a field goal at the end. I'm going to take the Panthers to cover.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking the Panthers to cover as well. 0.5 point.
Mata, start writing this shit down.
Yeah, he asked me. I was like, well, let me talk to Prano first. I didn't talk to you. All right. Talking to you now. Let's do it. Bengals, Browns. Bengals 2-point favorites. Here's my upset pick of the week. Bengals lose. It's not a crazy. It's not. It's a 2-point spread. It's not a crazy upset.
MVP candidacy start in week 1. Joe Burrow, super game.
Ooh,
Bengals win.
okay.
Bengals cover. Is it in Cleveland?
It is in Cleveland. That's why I'm doing it.
Bengals win cover.
Okay. The hot pick, the sneaky hot Super Bowl pick, the Jags. 5-point favorites in Indy. Which is like a role reversal for them. Now they're suddenly the big favorites on the road. I know it's a rookie quarterback and Anthony Richardson. You're still 5-point road favorite against a division opponent week 1.
I've gotten burned so many times in week 1 on a literal Jags Colts game.
Yeah.
That I have faith in my heart that I'm not going to get burned again. So I'm not going to go like, whoa. Jags win and cover.
It's funny. I thought you were going to do the opposite. I think the Colts are not going to be able to put up any points. I think Jags win and cover. All right, Bucks, Vikings in Minnesota. Vikings are 5.5-point favorites. I'll go first. We got to remember to alternate. 5.5 is a lot. I also think the Bucks are going to be terrible. Actually, reverse that. Vikings win, don't cover.
Backdoor Baker.
There you go.
We're going to play this card a lot this year. Backdoor Baker. Baker is the new games out of fucking reach, suddenly he looks like Joe Montana.
Again, it would be a good porn series, Backdoor Baker.
Yeah.
Like there was the Butt. Do you remember the Buttman Rio porn series?
Yeah. Can you imagine Backdoor Baker if he films it only around the old Brown Stadium? He's like, oh, you need your light changed? Let me in. I got my tool belt.
But here's the kicker. Backdoor Baker is a gay porn series.
Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't really care. But that's my point. That's when he's walking around the stadium, you know, there's like a large black dude trying to fix a light, and he's like, I'll help you fix that. He gives him the Backdoor Baker. Good mental image for all you guys listening. Okay. Titans Saints. Saints are 3-point favorites. It's in New Orleans.
Why is everybody so down on the Titans?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go Titans underdog pick of the week. Win.
Okay.
And I'm a Saint. I'm like, I believe in the Saints, but like, how do the Saints win 9 games if we don't believe in the fucking NFC South? And like, I'm gonna go Titans win.
All right, I'm gonna go Saints win and cover.
Money line pick of the week.
Niners Steelers. This is a real interesting one because it's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Niners are 2.5-point favorites.
West to East.
Brock Purdy.
God, if it was 3.5, I'd be on the fucking.
Not an easy place to play. Good fan base. I say the Steelers win this game.
Whoa, that's a money line pick of the week.
Yeah, I'm going with it.
I'm gonna go Niners win cover. I believe in Kenny Pickett, the modern day Joe Montana. Just looks very cool.
Stop.
Very smooth.
Stop it.
Well, that's what I mean. The thing about Joe Montana is like Kenny Pickett would be fucking great if he was playing in 1988.
Well, he's not.
Right.
Cardinals.
It wasn't necessarily like he's going to be the best quarterback in the league guy. Just saying, like, Kenny Pickett's my new Jake Plummer. I don't know why I like him. Just like the way he moves. It's like his toughness. I like him. That being said, great story. I'm picking the Niners.
Cardinals Commanders in Maryland. Washington's 7-point favorites.
Yeah, I'm going to pick him to win and cover. It's Josh Dobbs. Remember how bad he looked last year? He came in for the Titans.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to score any points. I agree.
Washington, so big though for
it
that
is.
Game.
Washington wins and covers. Baltimore 10-point favorites against the Texans. I'm up first. I think Baltimore beats the living shit out of the Texans.
Wow.
I think Lamar has a great game, and everyone's going to be riding this Lamar, spread this offense. He's going to do it against a bad team, though.
This is my suicide pick this week. I have picked the Ravens to win the game. I think the Texans cover. 10 points, week 1. We're just going double-digit things in week 1. I'd love to see the stats on that.
Yeah, I normally I'm going to take the dogs. I just think the Texans are going to be terrible. All right, Chicago 1-point favorite at home against the Packers week 1. There you have it. Or you go first. You already know what I'm going to do.
I mean, I think we both know what we're going to do. We both like the Packers to have sneaky seasons, so we're both taking the Packers to win the game.
For sure. 100%. All right. Raiders, Broncos in Denver. Broncos are 3.5-point favorites.
It's tough. I don't like 3.5. I don't like 3.5.
I don't like 3.5. Therefore, I'm going to take the Raiders.
I'll take the Broncos to cover. I think it's going to be right there, though. This could be a kick at the end of the game.
For sure.
I don't really believe in backdoor Jimmy. But I could see a kick at the end of the game. I don't hate your pick. We just got to have some different ones. Starts early. Starts week 1. Mix
Eagles, Patriots. This is in Foxborough. Eagles are 4-point favorites.
It's just not enough. I wanted to take the if this was 5.5, I'd take the Pats. 4 is not enough. I believe in Belichick against a quarterback that I think is maybe overrated and relies on his legs too much. It'd be a fun value pick. I'm going to take the Eagles.
All right, I'm taking the Eagles too. All right, in LA at SoFi, we have okay. I don't know why that. Did you hear that?
Yeah, barely.
Okay.
Is it Tupac?
No, it was Lenny Kravitz. Some ad was playing. Okay, Dolphins Chargers. This is a rematch, I believe, of a Sunday night game last year where the Chargers beat the shit out of them. Also in SoFi. Chargers are 3-point favorites. This is where I'm going to start early. My anti-Chargers train. Dolphins cover. I think there's a good chance they win.
I'm going to take the Chargers win and cover. Your Chargers are my Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm not picking the Dolphins either, but I don't know, man. Rams Seahawks, 5.5 in Seattle. This is one I'm definitely making in one of my picks.
Is it me or you?
I'll go. Rams cover.
Rams, agreed. Those games are just always gross.
Yeah, it's going to be a gross game. 5.5 is a lot. All right, a game I know we're both going to agree on. Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites at the Giants Sunday Night Football. I think we're both taking.
Is it at the Giants?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
And Dallas is favorites. I think we're both taking the Giants to win, aren't we?
I am taking the Giants to win. I'm certainly taking the Giants to cover.
For sure.
Taking the Giants to cover. I don't know if I'll bet the Giants money line. That's with all the emotions that come with that value, but I'm definitely betting the Giants to cover. I think this is where it starts. You talked about you get on the Chargers thing. The Giants have not beaten Dak Prescott, I think, when he was starting or some shit like that. I think they beat Andy Dalton a couple years ago. Blah, 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 blah. Don't care.
So the 2 primetime night games, both going to be in MetLife. The next night, Jets, who are also home dogs to the Bills, 2.5. Taking the Jets to win and cover.
Let's go. I love that every year I go, hey, don't buy into the fucking Hard Knocks. Meanwhile, I'm like, the Jets win the fucking game.
Well, that's a line I don't get. You have everybody's obviously riding higher on the Jets. The Jets are dogs at home on a week 1 Monday Night Football.
Well, I think probably because the Bills were even higher, bigger favorites, and then it's probably been bet down.
All right. NFL kickoff. Less than 5 hours away.
But now, are there 2 Monday night games this week? Don't they usually do 2 on week 1?
They did. Looks like they stopped doing that.
Wow.
You had me looking at did I miss something?
Well, that's what I was. I don't fucking know. They don't want anybody competing with Peyton and Eli.
No, but they did release that schedule and that promo that was really funny. I don't know if you watched it.
That's it. Just Bills. The auditions.
It's pretty funny.
It's great. You guys dress like that for real?
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, we got a long season ahead of us.
We got a long season ahead of us.
So follow along. Subscribe. That's what you're doing right now. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on socials, Instagram, TikTok.
I'm going to say something about that, Andy. I'm not afraid to mine for
dirty sports,
for social media love. We've started to put our clips up on Instagram. We started to put our clips up on TikTok. We started to put our clips up on YouTube Shorts. If you're listening to this, you already heard the things on Dirty Sports that you're going to see on the internet. That doesn't mean you can't like it and share it. It doesn't mean if you're a fucking Packers fan that you shouldn't share us trashing the Vikings or the Bears. If you're a Jets fan, you should absolutely be sharing the Andy Ruther Jets win the Super Bowl hot takes. We got a lot of social media stuff out there. We got a crew working with us to put out our clips from the show, putting out some stand-up stuff. I just put a stand-up clip about the NFL out, and it's a classic joke. You were there when I did it about how come no one ever blames God. And shocker, the Facebook crowd of Karens and Chads are losing their mind about making fun of God. But support all our clips out there. Share it. Shout out to the 315 crew. Rob already shared a clip of mine today. So share our stuff. Come see me live. joepraner.com/shows. I've got a link tree full of dates in my Instagram. I'll be back in New York at the end of the month. My Empire City Casino show is coming back. I'll be doing that Friday the 29th. I just realized, Andy, that I'm essentially doing a away game party tour for the New York Giants. If your city is known for fucking partying, I'm coming there to watch the Giants. First weekend of October, I will be at Giants at Dolphins. Before that, I'll be at Comedy Key West in Key West, Florida, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, one show every night. I will be in Vegas for Giants at Raiders week, one show every night at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club from October 30th to November 5th. And then we will be in New Orleans December for the 1000th episode of the Dirty Sports Podcast, 2 live stand-up shows, and Giants at Saints. Between those 2 last dates, I'll also be in Alaska, doing a little tour of the Alaskan cities in November. Go to my Instagram, like some posts, share some stand-up clips, click in my bio for tour dates. Come see a show.
There you have it. All right, guys. We did the episode. We'll be back on Monday recapping some games and looking ahead to that Monday Night Football game. Have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.